Well, welcome to the last meeting in August. It's gone by quick. We'll open it up for public input. Any questions or comments?
I got a comment. Did you guys see all those skid marks on Ledge Hill right by the school?
Tires are cheap, I guess.
Yeah. That's crazy. So anyway, what's up with that? I know that was terribly important, but I just wanted to share.
Yep.
Okay. Chief Thompson, come on down. How are you? Folders. Hi there.
Chief. We've currently done 144 for fire calls, 197 EMS calls, 36 service calls, 20 special details for a total of 397 for the year. Gas furnace inspections 15, 6 oil burner inspections, 4 wood pellet stove inspections, and 9 life safety for a total of 34. The calls for the department have remained up for the year so far. For example, the department had 9 fire and EMS calls on August 6th alone. From Friday night, August 4th to August 7th, the department had 15 calls total for the weekend. So that's moon related, or what do you put that up to?
I don't know. It was just a busy weekend, I guess. The total repairs for the Mirror Lake Fire Station for the July 17th lightning strike were $1,753. They included $283.50 for Thompson Electric, $437 for Night Security Alarm Company to repair the control panel replacement and replace the battery backup. And then they tested the complete system and put it back online. And $1,033 for Martel overhead doors for the removal of the damaged overhead door opener and installation of a new one. So the total was $1,753. The town has a $1,000 deductible with Primex. At the point in time, I do not feel it's prudent to do an insurance claim for $753.50. With the possibility of our insurance premiums increasing. We paid for those items from the department's fire station improvements and building maintenance, and we're actually going to put off some repairs that we had said that we were going to do this year, or improvements, and took care of it that way. The Melbourne Station's chimney has been completed by Kinkle Masonry, and that was something that was ongoing for 3 years, that we were trying to get a mason in to take care of that. There's some pictures of it in the process and the finish of that. There was a large ant's nest found in the chimney up there, and that was taken care of. When I was on the roof, I found that the roof seemed kind of spongy as far as roof was, but it doesn't appear that any damage was done by the ants that were up in the chimney itself that we can see. And I believe that the roof, as far as its sponginess, is just that it's half-inch plywood versus 3/4 inch plywood. It just makes it feel spongy when you walk on it, but it all seems to be intact from the inside. The department has been working with 3 property owners for life safety items throughout town.
The updated information for the ambulance billing contract was submitted. And was there any further questions for that? I have some further answers
Did we
to
get
the
the
different
copies of
sections.
the updated?
I had submitted it, I don't know if each select person had.
It's in the appointments folder, it was in the signature folder.
Right here.
Okay, so I haven't had a chance to.
I haven't,
Okay.
I haven't seen it either.
I've read it over, it looks,
I will,
but it's right.
Were there any substantive changes? I know we talked
no,
about.
the changes that we had talked about, all the questions that you had asked, they changed the term to 1 year as far as that goes. They asked that we initial there.
Do you have the page of that?
That was page 6.
Page 6. There's a place here for me to initial, if it's okay with
Did
this.
we change the venue for lawsuits, if you will?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that's towards the back. There was a few changes before that.
Okay.
The 8.5% was included instead of the 8%. That was page 9. And that's 10A.
Yep.
And all the others were on the last page, A, B, and 20. 20 was governing law, and for them, they changed that to New Hampshire instead of Pennsylvania. That was one of the questions. The other item was the question in reference to, it depended on how you read it, of the client expressly agrees that in the event of a breach of this provision, enhanced management shall be entitled to a placement fee of 2 times the annual salary paid by enhanced management to the employee. So the employee, what they were saying was if you took one of their employees to do your billing and things, then you were in violation of the contract and you would
Okay.
pay them that. It wasn't a matter if one of their employees left them during this contract, that we would be responsible for that. And the second part of that also is the same thing. If their employee, if you took them and used them for billing, they started their own company, you couldn't use them to compete against this particular enhanced management. So it was a matter of how you would read the
It just
the
seems a
language.
non-compete clause in a purchase contract seems a little
Right.
confusing.
They probably put it in there because it's happened too many times.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
I don't
They've run
see
into it
us
before, so.
taking their employees as far as, starting our own ambulance billing company as far as it goes, so.
Do you guys want to read this over before I sign it?
Yeah, if you don't mind,
No problem.
we're going to be back Friday for sign and check.
Yes. Do we need a motion that once you guys okay me, I'll sign it? How do you want to handle it? I'm sorry.
Sure, that's fine.
I did initial the 2 spots to acknowledge.
So, I will move approval of the ambulance billing services agreement, subject to review by you and by me.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Good enough. Thank you very much, Chief. That's a lot of work.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to look at that and actually have the questions for that. The department provided traffic control in 3 different areas for Tuftonville Parks and Rec at the 5K road race this weekend. We had a total of 3 personnel, including myself, at the event. Personnel were available not only to make sure that people were able to cross the intersections safely, but also to provide medical aid if someone was hurt in a medical emergency, which we had one person that had fallen. And also we put out needed traffic control cones and things in different places. The department has been questioned on whether or not personnel were being paid or volunteering for the event. Personnel were paid for this event because they were operating department vehicles, and also to cover them for the workman's comp in case they were injured while directing traffic. Total time paid for the event was $99.25. My time is covered as part of being on salary. So that was the answer for the person that asked whether or not that we were being paid or not to do that event. I think it was very important to make sure that everyone remained safe during that, and everyone seemed to enjoy the event and made it through safely without too many injuries. Does the town have a written policy on procurement of contractors? And if no, we will need something in writing that says how the town hires contractors, whether it's by the bid process. And the reason for this is continued paperwork from the Stellar storm. FEMA is questioning how we hire contractors to do things.
For the storm or in general?
In general,
Karen, can you work on that with the chief?
Sure.
I know you have a contact with the municipal association. We also have RSAs that cover it.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
so that I think that, I'm hoping that is the last part of the paperwork that they would
The
need.
final piece that they're gonna need, no?
Right.
Yeah.
But,
So I guess, being the new guy on the block, is there no written policy on procurement?
I haven't found one,
Okay.
but that means
Is there,
nothing.
Karen, do you know?
Not that I know of. I was gonna check with Diane when she was
We should
back.
probably put that on our agenda.
Right. I think what's happened is that each project, the RSA is reviewed, and I'm thinking if some things go out for bid and some other things, there's a request for a price. I guess there's a slight difference.
So in this particular case, our road agent did the cleanup
Right.
and took care of that. But we had nothing in writing that showed how the road agent was hired. I had to show that he was elected,
Right.
when he was elected.
And
you know,
the rates that he bills at
The
are the
rates.
standard billing rates that he uses. So it's the
Correct.
road agent that's doing it as opposed to a contractor, but, yeah,
It's a good review.
yeah, it is.
Yep.
It is.
We're gonna have more storms.
We provided his insurance that he provided us as far as to show that he was covered, and a few other things as far as to be able to show that how he had billed and things.
So, what did they say their concern was? That when, I mean, is this like the Davis-Bacon Act or something like that?
They just need something in writing that shows that how the town.
It's another box they're checking off.
Yes, it's basically a box that everyone else provided this paperwork.
Because it's federal money
Yes.
that we're receiving, so there are federal conditions to
Yes.
the money. So we need to find out what those are.
Yeah. But we have provided everything that they've asked for. This is just one item that I haven't been able to find.
Well, you hang around long enough, you'll bump into every question.
Well, I know when you get federal monies for projects, you're subject to the Davis-Bacon Act, which means that you have to find out what the union wage rate is in your area and pay that.
For some projects,
Right.
Any project that gets federal money,
not now.
does it change? Donald Trump
Yes.
changed that?
Well, I think Obama changed it and then Trump changed it back.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I'm not against paying good wages.
No.
Right.
By all means, I think we
Yeah.
should. And those are conditions that
Right.
we don't want to fall afoul of.
I believe that they basically were looking that, to make sure that we were not paying more than needed as far
Yeah.
as the whole process.
For subletting the job to my brother-in-law.
Correct.
Well, thank you for your efforts. Here are your pictures.
Do
They did a good job.
you have anything further as far as questions or anything that you have missed?
To back up to, you were talking about the roof deck at
Yes.
the Melvin Station, and that some of it was ½ inch rather than 3/4.
Well, the whole roof
The
is.
whole roof deck is, and does that need to be upgraded?
I think that right now, as long as, nothing is rotting or, has been soaked through, you can see some stains where it was, the water was coming in around the chimney. And we had water coming down the chimney because it was such a good-sized flue and running out onto the floor for a period of time. We now have a roof cap, as far as chimney cap on that, to keep that from happening also. But I don't think that any money needs to be spent on that particular roof unless we found that, those ants had done damage in there and that's what was causing it. I think it's just, it's been holding the snow loads and things like that. They melt off really fairly quickly, and we keep them, the edges of the roof cleaned off anyways. We try to keep the roof
Prevent the
cleaned off
ice
as much as
dams from
possible.
forming, yeah.
So unless we find rot, I wouldn't, because the shingles were replaced basically when the tree fell through the roof on the far side, for that section. New shingles were put on the entire roof by the insurance company. So.
Speaking of which, if we're gonna review policy, which doesn't seem to be, the chief made the election not to file an insurance claim. We probably should work on a policy regarding that sort of action, just so he feels comfortable with what he's done, but also, where do you draw the line? He drew the line at $753. Is it $800? Is it
Right.
$2,000? Where's the line?
Where do you want it
Yeah.
to be?
So probably we should come up with something on that.
I figured that our budget could handle that we had that, at least that amount in it as far as, for repairs and stuff that we were gonna make. If it was much more than that, we couldn't absorb something like that.
That's why we buy insurance.
Right.
Yes.
So I don't think
And,
Primex is
and another thing with respect to that is Primex works a little bit differently than a regular insurance company. So the thought process about it might affect the premium because of an active nature. I'm not sure it's true. So, it's,
Yeah, my understanding is they commingle all of their claims and then decide on rates. So it's not just what
Not
happens
just
to
us.
you, it's what happens across the state.
Anything else for the chief?
That's it, I think.
Have a good August.
Thank you very much.
Next is Gordon Hunt. Will anybody be joining you at the table, Gordon?
All right.
Come on up. Everybody give their name to Karen, so, welcome to downtown Tufton Borough.
Well, thank you very much.
How you doing?
We don't get here very often. I'm doing very well, thank you. How about you?
Super.
And name for Karen, Paul Matlock.
Hey, Waldy.
Water start.
You have the floor.
Well,
Welcome.
thank you. Let me tell you what we've been up to. This is what we have been up to. Okay. Existing library. Sorry?
I'll hold that
Oh,
for you.
thank you. Here's the existing library. Here is the addition. Okay. The side view top will show a new main entrance. Here's the current entrance, that's not going to be there anymore. Where you go into the meeting room is now going to become the main entrance. Hall 2.
So you're gonna eliminate the front entrance completely, or it'll be a fire door or something?
The jury's still out on that, but the main, it would not be,
Where you go in?
it would not be a serviceable entry. Egress perhaps, but not entry anymore. because
Excuse me. The TV can't see it?
Oh,
None of us can see it? Can you do it from that end?
People still-
Okay, that's fine. Good.
Oh, okay.
You want us to put it up here?
He's gonna turn it around in a second.
yeah.
Then everyone's on.
Yeah, actually, Mary, if you
Can I
can go to the side, a little bit
hold it
closer
back
to
here
that.
if you want?
Good shot.
There you go.
Well, no, I was, so
Oh,
the
yeah.
other- people could see from the rear. I'm sorry, I didn't bring an easel.
If you do it from that
I can hold
end,
it down there.
everyone can see it.
Do you want an easel board?
Right.
That's want to make sure people want to see it.
Behind Lloyd.
I can have one.
If it goes over by Lloyd, everyone can see it.
All right.
I believe these plans are also available in the
Tell me
library.
Well, yeah, everything is online.
This way?
Yeah. Everything is online, of course, at the library website,
I've seen it.
as well as there's a really neat link to a YouTube video, which actually shows a flyer around the building that S&P was able to put together.
So this is, I'm surprised because I was expecting some modification of Hertz design, and this is.
We looked at it, and they looked
Yeah.
at it, but that's why you hire architects.
Right.
You know, and we are the
I'm not,
first.
I'm not saying I'm disappointed, I just.
Well, no, we're the first to extend our thanks to Skip to light the fire. But I think this is a much more attractive situation than we might be looking at, and certainly much more serviceable. You can see the meeting, which has a separate entrance, as we now have at the top of the page,
Right.
top of the picture. Meeting room, a small meeting room for,
Staff.
yeah, well, no, for example.
Small meeting room and large meeting room.
Exactly. 2 handicap facilities, little kitchenette area, a storage area, which we do not have any of right now. Coming down to the children's area. Right now, where the existing meeting room is pretty much where the circulation desk would be. Coming down into the main body of the library for the rest of the adults.
So the utility room stays where it is,
A utility room. There will be another
another
separate,
one?
another mechanical room as well. So.
And the offices become something else, is that, or there's still an office there?
At this juncture, that's probably still Christie's office, but we haven't quite put the final numbers on.
And is there something upstairs?
No, there is no
I see
second.
there's
Some mechanical stuff.
Yeah,
there's an atrium. entrance.
exactly. That's an architectural detail.
Okay.
And that's about the only architectural detail you'll find in this building, because when we went into this exercise, and I'm speaking now as myself, the goal in the back of my mind was that if we could get the needs of the library taken care of, for a dollar amount, there was going to be a significant savings over what the proposed building would have been on the other side of the street. Then when it came time to take it to town meeting, we could say, we have saved this amount of money in the library, so that people in other positions within the community besides us could say, we've put enough, these dollars can then go towards the other elephant in the room, which we all know is the police facility. That's going to have to be dealt with. We're not naive to that fact. Our initial numbers on this came in at $1,953,000. We have subsequently worked with SMP and with Bowen to say, okay, That's tue much money. I set a figure in the back of my mind at about $1.7 million, which would be that's not quite, a little bit more than a little bit less than $750,000 what the building across the street was gonna cost, which is certainly a leg up.
So no major work to the current building,
There will be some, we're gonna be
Just
probably
some.
replacing some windows, paper and paint, but
nothing major.
nothing major.
And how many square feet are we adding?
This comes in at what, another
4,800 or something,
4,800 square feet?
nearly 5,000.
So we're just about at the same square footage of what we would be looking at for the
Yeah.
new building across the street. So I say that first figure I gave you has now been modified as of last Friday, down to $1,882,000.
1.082?
1,882,
82.
which is approximately $71,000. That came out of soft cost. This was stuff that the staff looked at and said, well, we could do this, we could do that. S&P coming back and saying you could do this and you could do that. And also, the original figure I gave you, that was carrying what was it, $150,000 contingency, which we allowed from the get-go was too much. So 50,000 of that came out as contingency.
And this is equipped.
Hmm?
This is 1.882 fully equipped.
Yeah, well, I'm not through yet.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
As I say, these numbers I just gave you came out of soft cost. At our meeting last week, S&P and the trustees sat and went through a whole list of things that could be done, that we identified that could have potential savings of at least probably another $100,000 off of that. We're waiting for Bowen. Andre has been out of town for Bowen. He is back this week and he'll be dealing with those numbers so that hopefully we're gonna get much closer to that $1,700,000 figure, which is what I would like to think that we could do it for. And that in a nutshell is where we are right now. Sir?
Your goal is to go to the CIP and say this project is 1.7, correct?
My goal is, when we fill out the CIP form, which is, they would like to see by the 1st of September, I'm probably going to submit the figure of $1,880,000
Yep.
plus.
Now, the other question I have is, how much has already been raised and is sitting in an account someplace?
We're over 700.
It's about 700,000.
700,000.
I think it's
In between
quite-
our funds and
I'm talking just
in capital reserve funds.
general,
So
pretty significant.
it is, it's a significant savings over the building across the street. In our heart of hearts, would I have loved to see the new building? I certainly would have. I thought it was a gorgeous addition to the community. But I think this deals with the needs of the community, at the same time taking care of our fiduciary responsibilities as trustee. Okay, to present the best facility that we can for the owners involved. So,
Yeah, I was gonna ask if we wanted to.
Please, thank you.
So I guess my question remains, is it equipped at 1.8?
yes.
Yes.
Everything's furnished?
Mhm.
Is it solar on the back of that, is that what I'm saying?
Yes.
There is a solar array on the back of the roof. That's one of the things, obviously, that's gonna have to be discussed further in depth. It's come down considerably. In fact, we can even get solar now where it's no money up front.
Last year, there was a committee that met at the fire station, and I don't know if you were there or not, that I think in a couple of years, that federal break evaporates.
Well, we don't get a federal break anyways.
Well, the way this system worked was a company will come in and put in solar units for you,
Mhm.
in the town, and they're able to get both state and federal tax breaks, and then after 5 years,
And they get the recs, they have the, that all comes back to them.
yes.
Yeah. I have solar in my own house, I own my own system. If I was going to do it again, I would still buy my own system versus dealing with these other companies. But in municipalities, it's a completely different story.
Yes.
Okay, you're not, you're not looking at your tax returns at the end of the year and saying, boy, that was a very nice credit that I got. So,
Well, but, that said, the deal that they make is that you pay exactly what you're paying currently for your electricity for the next 8 years,
Yep.
or 10 years, or 12, whatever the term is. So there's no savings involved, there's no life, there's no turning the number around. I mean, a municipality has the ability to actually purchase the panels and realize the gain going forward, because those companies aren't doing it for nothing.
Of course not.
No, they're gonna make a profit. I guess the only other question I've got, and, well, not the only, I've got a couple more questions, but are we married to the Bowen group? I mean,
Not
are we
very,
gonna put this out to bid, or are you just gonna do it this way?
well,
I mean, I just see that as perhaps an avenue of savings.
I don't think there's gonna be another construction management company out there that's gonna do it for less money. The construction managers are the ones who put everything out for the competitive
There
bidder.
are agents.
No, I appreciate it, I know how it works, and, I'm ambivalent about having only one company look at this, so it's really, although I have not, or we have nothing to say about it, but I'd encourage you to get more bids, because I think there could be some savings involved there.
I would debate that with you. But, I've talked to SMP about this, and I said, give me another,
Yeah.
and we have other construction management companies out there, but although Bowen has a good knowledge of what we're looking for.
Sure.
From past
Sure.
experience. And getting somebody else back up to speed is gonna take a certain amount of time, and I don't think they're gonna do that for free. Everything that Bowen has done for us so far, by the way, is at no cost.
Yeah, as well it should be.
Yeah. Well, you say that, but it doesn't necessarily work that way in the construction.
Maybe in the domestic construction business, but in these kind of projects.
I understand that, but no, I've
there's a
also,
significant amount of profit margin.
in my discussions with the architect, I said, are these other guys gonna come in and do everything that Bowen has done for us so far for nothing? And they said, probably not. There'll be a certain amount of money. But that's a debate. The construction management people are the ones who are in charge of getting the best competitive bid for us.
Right.
So, we're happy with them.
Okay.
So,
I mean, if you're happy, I'm happy.
well, good.
I'm not delighted, but I'm happy.
Well, I just don't think we're gonna find anybody who's competent, who has as good a track record with Tuppenboro in the construction projects as Bowen has. So, they've done the fire station, they did everything we asked for them to do in the.
So it was, just